Anya never knew her great-aunt, not really. She received a hand-knitted scarf every Christmas, always in an unusual colour, but a phone call? A visit? Never. So when a lawyer called, Anya was surprised. Her great-aunt had passed away, and Anya had inherited her sprawling ancient mansion. Anya was intrigued. She packed her bags and drove towards the unknown. The drive was long. The house, when she finally saw it, was more imposing than she imagined. Dark stone, gargoyles leering from the roof. The lawyer, a Mr. Graves no less, handed her the keys. "Good luck, Miss Anya," he said, his voice raspy. "You'll need it." Anya swallowed, her excitement tinged with apprehension. The door creaked open as if inviting her in. The house smelled of dust and secrets. Cobwebs clung to the high ceilings. Furniture, draped in white sheets, loomed like ghosts. Anya wandered through echoing rooms. She found portraits of stern-faced strangers, a room filled with bird cages, though no birds remained, a library, its shelves overflowing with ancient tomes. Anya learned about her great-aunt from scraps of information. A diary entry here, a faded photograph there. She discovered her ancestor was a collector of the strange and unusual, artifacts from forgotten cultures, books on the occult. Anya felt a chill. This house, this inheritance, was more than she bargained for. Days turned into weeks. Anya settled into the mansion. She hired Mrs. Periwinkle, a local woman, to help clean and cook. Mrs. Periwinkle was round and jolly, but even she seemed uneasy in the house. "Old places have memories," she'd say, her voice hushed. Anya brushed it off. At first, but then things started happening. A book falling from a shelf as if pushed. The sound of footsteps on the creaking floorboards, though she was alone. A cold spot in the middle of a room, despite the summer heat. Anya tried to ignore it, to rationalize it, but fear, like a seed, began to grow in her heart. One afternoon, while exploring the library, Anya noticed something odd. The bookcase behind her great-aunt's favourite reading chair seemed to shift slightly when she brushed against it. She examined it closer. A hidden latch. Her heart pounded. She pressed the latch. With a groan, the bookcase swung inwards, revealing a dark, narrow passageway. Anya hesitated. What secrets did this house hold? Curiosity, a stronger force than fear, propelled her forward. She grabbed a lantern and stepped into the passage. The air grew colder, damper, the musty smell intensified. The passage opened into a small circular room. In the centre, draped in a velvet cloth, stood a mirror. Section 5. The Antique Mirror. The mirror was ornately framed, silver tarnished with age. The glass itself was cloudy, distorted. Anya cautiously approached it. She reached out, her fingers trembling slightly, and pulled the velvet cloth away. The mirror seemed to breathe in, sucking the air from the room. Anya gasped. Her reflection was wrong, twisted, almost predatory. She quickly looked away, her heart pounding in her chest. Had the mirror always been like this? Or had it changed when she unveiled it? A strange pull drew her back. She found herself staring at the reflection again, trying to make sense of the distorted image. Was it her imagination, or was the reflection smiling? Section 6. Whispers in the Dark. Anya couldn't stay away from the hidden room. She found herself drawn to the mirror, compelled to look into its depths. The distorted reflection seemed to shift and change with each viewing. Sometimes it was simply unsettling. Other times, it filled her with a deep primal fear. The strange occurrences in the house intensified. Whispers followed her through the halls, too faint to decipher. Footsteps echoed at night, heavy and slow, as if something was pacing just outside her bedroom door. One night, she woke to the feeling of a cold hand brushing against her cheek. She sat up in bed, her heart racing. The room was empty, but the feeling of being watched lingered. Section 7. The Inscription. The mirror, Anya realized, wasn't just a mirror, it was a door to somewhere else. She became obsessed with finding a way to open it, to understand the secrets it held. One day, while cleaning the mirror with a damp cloth, she discovered something she hadn't noticed before, an inscription etched into the silver frame. The letters were small, almost worn away, but she could just make them out. The inscription was in a language she didn't recognize. It looked ancient, almost alien. Anya spent hours in the library poring over her great-aunt's collection of old books. Finally, she found a match. The language was archaic Latin. The inscription she discovered was a warning: beware the reflection that calls your name. Section 8. The Stormy Night. A stormy night. Wind howled outside, rattling the windows of the mansion. Rain lashed against the glass, creating a symphony of sound. Anya sat in the hidden room, staring at the mirror. She had deciphered more of the inscription. It was a ritual, a way to communicate with the entity trapped within the mirror. She had to be careful. One wrong move could be disastrous. Anya lit candles around the mirror, their flames flickering in the draught. She took a deep breath and began to trace the inscription with her finger, reciting the words she had translated. The air in the room grew heavy, charged with energy. The mirror's surface rippled like water disturbed by a stone. Section 9. The Disappearance. A sudden gust of wind slammed the window open, extinguishing the candles and plunging the room into darkness. Anya gasped, startled. The mirror pulsed with an eerie light, and then a voice whispering her name. It came from inside the mirror. Anya leaned closer, her breath catching in her throat. "Anya!" The voice whispered again, beckoning. Anya reached out, her fingertips brushing against the cold glass. At that moment, lightning flashed, illuminating the room for a fleeting instant. The mirror was no longer reflecting Anya's terrified face. It was empty, black as night. And then, silence. The only sound was the storm raging outside, and the faint tinkling of glass falling to the floor. Section 10. Trapped Within. The next morning, Mrs. Periwinkle found the hidden room. The door was ajar. Candles lay scattered on the floor, wax pooling around their bases. The mirror was gone. Only shards of glass remained, reflecting the faint morning light filtering through the dusty window. And Anya? Anya was never seen again. Some say her reflection can still be seen in the shattered fragments of the mirror, but only on the darkest of nights, and only if you look very, very closely.